Namaste and welcome. It's Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we are going to speak about something very deep: how to be happy all the time. Is that even possible, right? So we're going to go deep into this because it's one of or the most important questions in our life, right? So the first thing we need to do is to define what is happiness, right? So we're going to go deep into this, and this will hopefully give you some revelations, some questions about why have I not thought about it this way, or why don't I think about it this way more, right? So we're going to define happiness, because if we don't know what it is, then we can't be it. And secondly, we are going to look at how to then do that, how to be happy. Okay, so let's get to it. So the first one, what is happiness? Now, as human beings, right, our nature is that we do one of two things. We are either moving toward pleasure or away from pain, essentially. So we're either moving toward pleasure or away from pain. And we live in this illusion. Our entire life is this illusion that once this happens, then I'll be happy. Think about it, right? It's always once this happens, then I'll be happy, right? So it's always you're waiting for something to happen, and then your happiness is after that, right? It's never now. So if we look at the example of pleasure, it's always once I get this job, then I'll be happy. Once I get this promotion, then I'll be happy. Once I get this car or this house or this life partner, or whatever the goal is in your mind, whatever it is, it's always, I'm just working toward this, I'm just working toward this, and once I get it, then I'll be happy, right? Or it's moving away from pain, right? So, right now, once Corona is over, then I'll be happy. Or, once I recover from this illness, then I'll be happy, right? We put so many conditions on our happiness, and this is true no matter how old you are, right? Since you were a kid, we've always been chasing, or moving away from something in order to find that abyss, that lasting happiness, which is, it's just an illusion, right? We still haven't seemed to have gotten there, no matter how much we've accumulated or got away from. So this is the thing. It's never now, and that's the question, right? Why is it never now? So let's go ahead and define, what is happiness, right? So one thing it's clear from these examples that we've gone through is that happiness is not the presence of pleasure, and it's not the absence of pain. So it's not the presence of pleasure, because anything that is pleasure, it's temporary, right? Even if you get a new house, you live in it for a month, and then it wears off. You get a new car, you're excited for a couple of days, then it wears off. You get a new job, the new salary is great for some time, but then it wears off, because then you're not in lasting happiness. You're still chasing another thing, and that is a rat race, essentially. That is the illusion of life, that anything external can make us happy, right? So ultimately, happiness is not the presence of pleasure or the absence of pain. So what is it then? Happiness is simply accepting what is. I'm going to say that again. Happiness is simply accepting what is. Now, that is something that you may not even be able to comprehend the first time that you hear it, right? But the fact that you are alive, you are breathing, you have the basic things in life, that should be enough, because that is the only thing that is permanent in your life, the fact that you're alive, right? Everything else is just a story. It's just a story. The fact that you are alive, the fact that you are breathing, that is it. Because do you know how much, we think like we have so many problems in our life, right? But do you know how much needs to go right for you to just be alive, for us to just be alive? Like the sun needs to come up every single morning. The planets need to maintain their positions. Your breathing needs to keep happening and not stop, something that you never think about. There's all these things that nature has essentially, put in place that need to be perfect. If one thing changes, that's it. That's the end of you. That's the end of us, right? So much magic is already happening just to keep us alive, and that should be enough ultimately. Now, I know this may be hard to comprehend the first time that you hear it, but that's why I would urge you to think about your life and think about everything up until now that you thought would give you happiness, and you got it. And then how long did it take until the next thing appeared that you wanted and you thought that would give you lasting happiness, right? So the question is, am I saying that we should not be ambitious and not actually, live our lives and try to do things? Of course not. Of course not. We should be doing all of that. We should be doing all of that. It's just that we should not be seeking happiness in those things. We should not think that if I do this, it will make me happy. You should just do it because you want to do it, for the sake of it, as an offering, And this is where living to serve, essentially, like selfless work, is a great way to be happy, because you don't want anything. You are already happy. Everything you're doing is just for the betterment and the benefit of others, essentially. That is ultimately what will make you happiest, when you're not trying to take, but when you're trying to give, ultimately, right? So how do you do that then, right? How do you just be happy in the now? That's the key thing, right? How do we practice this? Because the truth is that there is too much conditioning of society. You'll watch this video, then you'll go on Instagram and you'll scroll, you'll see somebody's doing better than you, and then it's like, no, I'm not good enough. I need to get that. I need to be better, and then I'll be happy, right? There's too much conditioning. There's too much clutter, too many stories we have in our head, too much conditioning. Everybody out there is chasing these things, Everyone out there is chasing these things ultimately. And that's why we think that we need to be chasing them as well. So what we really need to do is to decondition, to remove all these stories, all that clutter. That is just an illusion, ultimately. And for that, meditation is required, because meditation, it brings you back to the present, not chasing something, not trying to get away from something. It is the only thing that forces you to come to the present moment, come to the present moment, come to the present moment. And when you come to the present moment, only then can you actually go within. And when you go within, you will begin to touch that part of you, the deepest part of you, the real you, that is eternal. This is the only thing that is lasting, right? Is that deepest part of you, the real you, the self. It's never been born, it's never going to die. It's always there as a witness of everything, right? Pure consciousness. And its nature is bliss. Its nature is pure love, essentially. So the more you meditate and the closer you get to this part of you, naturally the illusions will melt away. You'll stop feeling like I need something from outside to actually be happy, right? I know so many people who are not able to quit their job and actually do what they want, what they love, because it means that they'll have to sacrifice their lifestyle a bit, because they think those things will make them happy. The lifestyle will make them happy, but it's not true. It's not true, essentially. So to summarize, right? Happiness is not the presence of pleasure or the absence of pain. Happiness is simply accepting what is, okay? And if that's difficult to comprehend, that's totally fine. I get it. I've been there. I still behave in those ways, right? At times. But the more we practice coming back to the present moment, the more we celebrate just being alive, that is what will take you to that part of you that is eternal, essentially. And then you wouldn't need anything from outside. So that is it. I really hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for listening. Namaste.